Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for everyone online. Before we start our regular meeting tonight, we're pleased to introduce the students from the C.J. Hooker Select Chorus, who's going to perform some Christmas carols for us under the direction of Muriel Weisberg.
Just so you have an idea, we have met about 8 times, which is like about a week. So you have to see. So we've been cramming a lot of, a lot of information about songs. So it's a mixture between songs and carols.
We will sing for you Silent Night, a beloved carol composed by Franz Gruber and lyrics of Joseph Moore.
Our next song is an old traditional French carol sung for Christmas and New Year as well as arranged by Sam de Forme. It has been loosely translated in English, and you may know it by its name, Sing We Now of Christmas. Let's enjoy together the beloved carol of Noel Relay.
Composed by Mark Hayes with words of Deborah Craig. The message of this song is simple. When Old Man Winter knocks at the door, get ready for some coughing and sneezing. That's what makes this song quite entertaining for us. We hope it will be the same for you. Shiver, shatter, 'tis the season to be coughing, to be seasoned. Achoo! 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 Leaves are struggling and covers the hills. Icicles hanging beneath windowsills. Stay inside with its warm. Safe from nature's bitter snow. And the cold snap. And the cold snap. And the cold snap. And the cold snap.
Music by Cheryl and lyrics by Rachel Field. The song conveys a universal message about the passage of time and the cycle of nature. The geese serves as a symbol of both resilience and wisdom.
Something told the wild geese it was time to go. Then the fields lay older. Something whispered slow. Rain and stirring, where his master close. And beneath warm feathers, something caution frost. Oh, the sunny marches sing within the stars. But each one has safely and remembered us. Something told the wild geese it was time to fly. Summer sun was on their knees. Winter in their cry. We will sing for you next Jingle Bells, a famous Christmas song written by James Lord Pierpont, which shows the joyful experience of riding in a sleigh through the snow with the sound of jingle bells. and is considered one of the most cheerful holidays globally. Our last song for the evening is We Wish You a Merry Christmas, a traditional English Christmas carol whose original origin is unknown. We have been having fun singing and adding the sound of bells. Enjoy.
Thank you very much to the parents that made this happen. Without you wouldn't have done it. Thank you for driving them, bringing them, how do you say, giving it your all. Thank you to the administrations for having us. And have a lovely, happy holiday.
Thank you and the students for coming, giving us a little bit of holiday and
Oh,
Christmas cheer
thank
before.
you.
That was
It was
before
our
our meeting.
pleasure. Thank
It was
you so much.
fantastic. You're all very talented. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm
Thank
very
you.
proud of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with the regular meeting. Call to order a regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Goshen Central School District, which is being held Monday, December 16th, 2024, in the District Administration Building and being live streamed through YouTube. We do the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to give a moment of meditation for the passing of Marita Kowalczyk, who's a retired bus driver for the district, and Ed Van Putt, who's Lorene Van Putt Lemoran's father.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any privilege of the floor?
No.
All right, no privilege. There's no president's report tonight. We'll go to the student representative reports. Mrs. Francesca Zapata.
Hi everyone. As we approach the holiday break, there's no significant updates regarding school activities at this time. However, I would like to extend my congratulations to all of our students who participated in concerts over the past few weeks. Additionally, please remember to check Parent Square for updates on Spirit Week schedules. I also want to take a moment to thank everyone for welcoming me to the board this year. You guys have all been so kind. As a small token of my appreciation, I made some holiday Christmas trail mix to give everyone. Please.
Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone again.
Thank you.
And thank you for going to the board and taking the initiative to be here with us. Moving on, board member committee reports, legislative Roxman. So I think we are always working towards policy with the policy committee meeting this coming Wednesday. It's a never-ending commitment, but we're still working forward with that. With that being said, moving on to the superintendent's report, Dr. Curtis Coates.
Thank you, Mr. Whedon. Before I begin my section of the report, I want to invite two of our appointees that are on the consent agenda tonight. I always like for you to have an opportunity to introduce yourselves to the board. First, taking over at Scotchtown Avenue and a speech pathologist position, Christina Marley. If you don't mind coming forward, just introduce yourself to the board. Just tell a little bit about yourself. Right at the microphone. If you press it till it turns green, that would be great.
Got it.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina Marley. I'm really looking forward to taking on this new role and helping the students at Scotchtown.
Great. Glad to have you. You leave it right on if you want.
Thank you all. Thank you.
And also at Scotchtown Avenue, taking over as a long-term substitute, Mr. Nicholas Garcia.
Hello, my name's Nicholas Garcia, and
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Everyone gets it mixed up. It's all right. But I look very forward to doing this role, and I'd like to thank everybody that participated in giving me this role, and I just look forward to doing it. Thank you.
Welcome. So additionally, one item before I get into the items in my report that I want to share with the board and publicly. As we know, we have been waiting for the Rockefeller Institute to release their recommendations to the governor and to the legislature on the foundation aid formula. That report has been submitted to the governor, it's been made public. In summary, there are about 20 recommendations that the Rockefeller Institute made to school districts, not directly to school districts, but to the governor and to the legislature, and the governor and the legislature will have to reconcile whether or not they adopt them en masse, whether they do it in a phased-in approach. The only public item that the governor really has spoken to so far is the clause on hold harmless, and she has committed to, at least this year, not to make any adjustments in terms of the hold harmless formula. And if that goes through, that would mean that districts that were on hold harmless for this year and for last would still be made whole for the same amount of foundation aid that they received in the previous year. Beyond that, I think there's still a lot of work being done at the comptroller's side of Albany in terms of how these formulas will run together, what algorithm, if you will, of the different pieces of the recommendations, or any of them for that matter, that the governor and the legislature may or may not choose to put together. We're hoping that come the first of the year, we're going to start to see some of that unfold, because obviously our budget is dependent upon that, at least the state aid component of that, some of the use-based aids as well. But the Rockefeller report is out there. As we know, like I said, the governor and the legislature are trying to reconcile that, and we'll have to stay tuned to see how that plays out through the rest of our planning process for the 25-26 fiscal year. Getting specifically to the report for the evening, we had a taste of tonight what we've been seeing throughout the entire holiday season. Beginning in December, we started across the street with the Trotter Museum holiday concert that I think they said this was the, I'm not gonna get it right, but some great longevity, maybe 35, 40 years that we have been hosting and sponsoring at the Trotter Museum. And it's just a true testament of what music can do in our schools and the power of music in our schools into our community. I think tonight was a great culmination for all of us to see the hard work of our students and of our staff that really helped to bring that to life for our children and to see what they can do on a regular basis and the talents that they can exhibit. We have one more concert coming up tomorrow night, the jazz concert at the high school. We have the Scotchtown Avenue concerts coming during the day, where the elementary school will welcome in their families. And again, it's just wonderful to see the hard work they can put in at this time of the year. Second item, I did have an opportunity to attend a town hall meeting with the commissioner and two of our associate commissioners from the state at Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES this past Thursday. And the two main topics of what were discussed were the blue ribbon measures for graduation and this whole concept of regionalization. I will say 97% of the conversation was spent on the Blue Ribbon Commission, and I think purposefully the commissioner tried to avoid the topic of regionalization. Maybe 3% was spent on that. Meeting was attended by superintendents from throughout 5 counties, some board members, and when questioned about regionalization, the commissioner asserted that from the beginning of the process of regionalization, that the process had really always been optional. Yet, however, did make clear that at the last Board of Regents meeting, in emergency regulation, they did codify in the language of the regulation that regionalization would now be optional. Regardless, we did submit our report. They claim that about 70% of districts around New York State have submitted their reports. They're asserting that moving forward, no district will have to sign on to anything that they do not want to see. But they spent as little time as possible really speaking about regionalization. They did, however, spend a lot of time speaking about the blue ribbon measures. In the beginning of November, the Board of Regents gave an anticipated timeline of rollout for the new blue ribbon measures for graduation. The board has not officially adopted any of those blue ribbon measures as of yet. I think some of it's still unfolding, and they actually spent a lot of time in this meeting talking about some of the secondary, specifically the secondary measures, in particular financial literacy. There is a think tank right now working in Albany on what that will look like. The good news is for us, we have those courses embedded in our high school already. We really have to see how we would make that shift in the end and what that would look like for it to become a mandatory course of study for our students when this becomes required. But from everything that we are hearing, we're in a very good place for our programs to be able to make the pivot and to be able to make the shift when these blue ribbon measures get voted upon and get mandated by the Board of Regents for students for graduation. We have put out a survey to our families, to which as of just before we came down, there were about 360 respondents on people sharing feelings on if there is a cell phone mandate that comes in this legislative session from the governor, how do we deal with that? We wanted to give some time because we also did put the survey out in the newsletter that just went out for people to continue to respond. We are going to take those responses and we'll be planning our meetings after we come back from the holiday recess. And all those that are interested in participating in those meetings, including our students and our staff, will be able to have a voice in that process. We pre-scripted a lot of the questions purposefully to make sure that people kind of understood the direction that we would be heading in these meetings. And again, there was some spots in there to give some anecdotal comments as well. The feedback has been largely mixed. I would say, reading some of the responses, some people feel very strongly that cell phones should not be a part of the students' regular day because they're very distracting. And we saw some that have real concerns about how do I communicate with my children throughout the day. Regardless, we're going to put together those meetings starting in January, and we'll be prepared to have a rollout that is in concert with our current code of conduct, and we'll be prepared to make any recommendations should it become a legislative mandate. And finally, before we break for the new year, just want to give one more reminder. We do have our vote coming up for the Erie Street Park property on January 14th. Again, there is a plethora of information on the district website that will give everyone information that they need, but I invite any district resident to come out and partake in this vote. Again, this is your opportunity to voice your opinion on whether the district should work with the village in transferring this property over to the village of Goshen so that they can turn it into a public park for all community members. Finally, on behalf of the administration, Mr. Carter, Ms. Lamoran, I want to wish all of our staff a very happy and healthy holiday season. I think everyone's very happy about a 2-week recess here. I know I didn't win any popularity contests this morning keeping school open. Nevertheless, working with DPW and law enforcement, they assured me that roads were cleared and we did not have any issues this morning. But again, I just want to wish all of our staff, our families a very, very wonderful holiday season, and to our Board of Education as well. Thank you, Mr. Whedon. That'll be it.
Thank you, Dr. Coates. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our new employees. Thank you for giving us an update and introducing yourselves to us. There will not be a report tonight from the Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mrs. Lorraine Van Pelt-Lemerin. We do offer our continued condolences for the loss of her father. We'll move on to the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, Personnel, and Technology report, Mr. Jason Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Whedon. Good evening, everyone. I have nothing new to report this evening. However, I'd like to echo Dr. Coates' sentiments and wish everyone in Goshen and beyond a happy and healthy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for the consent agenda? Ashley and John. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education accepts the retirement of Claire Palanis, foreign language teacher, effective June 30th, 2025. Ms. Palanis has been in the district for 25 years. Be it further resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the remainder of the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Want to wish Mrs. Palanis a happy retirement and thank you for her time with the district. We have no old, so we'll move on to new. 12.1 approval of minutes. Can I get we have Billy and Shannon. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the minutes of the December 2024 regular meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 12.2, accept the recommendation of the Committee of Special Education and the Committee on Preschool Special Education. I have Shannon and Scott. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby arranges for the special education programs and services based upon the recommendations made for preschool and school-age students with disabilities by the Committee on Preschool Special Education, CPSE, and the Committee on Special Education, CSE, during the period October 16th, 2024 through and including December 9th, 2024, and directs the district to arrange for the provisions of such special education programs and services to such preschool and school-age students with disabilities as recommended during such time period by the CPSE and CSE. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes carried. 12.3, approve budgetary transfers. I have John and Ashley. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the following budgetary transfers in aggregate over $105,000. Purchase of Arctic wolf protection through BOCES to receive aid from New York State. It's $107,063.78. RWADA and special education placement changes on the BOCES bill and for increases on our sub-salary codes based on current needs, $235,529.78. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All ayes carried. 12.4, approve the overnight trip to Model UN. I have Billy and Shannon. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves the Model UN trip to New York City, New York from March 7th through 10th, 2025. Be it further resolved that the board reserves the right to cancel or reschedule any school-sponsored trip or activity in the event of any emergency condition outside the control of the school district in its sole discretion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. 12.5, can I get a motion to approve the agreement for special education services of the Greenberg Graham Unified Front FSD? I have Scott and John. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education enters into an agreement with the Greenberg Graham Unified School District to provide special education services for students for the school year of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 at tuition rates set by the State Education Department. Be it further resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent and the board president to execute the agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. I need a motion for 12.6, approve individual agreements for special education services, sub-allocation of IDEA 611 and 619 funds. I have John and Billy. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education enters into an individual agreement with Abilities First, Inc., Inspire Kids, and the Center for Discovery to provide special education services for students and for the district to sub-allocate IDEA 611 and 619 funds to said providers on a per-student basis for the grant year between July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Be it further resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent to execute said agreements. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Need a motion for 12.7, approve agreement for special education services, Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health. We got Ashley and Shannon. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education enters into an agreement with Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health to provide educational services for students for the school year from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 at the tuition rate set by the State Education Department. Be it further resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the board president to execute said agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Motion for 12.8, approve consent and judgment tax centauri MJ Maisel LLC. Billy and Shannon. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Goshen Central School District approves the terms of the consent judgment Article 7 proceedings commenced by MJ Maisel LLC against the Town of Goshen and the County of Orange Supreme Court, which is docketed under index number EF 3006025-2024. And be it resolved that the board authorize the transfers of $63,609.42 from its tax certiorari fund, reserve fund, to be used to pay for the school library tax refunds for the 2024-25 school years. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Can I get for 12.9, accept the grant and aid apportionment and increase the budget? John and Scott. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education accepts a $50,000 grant and aid apportionment from NYSED and authorize increase in the general fund budget by said amount. The $50,000 budgetary appropriation shall be placed in account code A162142807. The offsetting revenue account code A3289 shall also be increased by $50,000. All in favor? Any opposed? Any further privilege? No? Any board member issues? All right. I need a motion to enter into executive session. It's going to be Shannon and John. Be it resolved that the Board of Education want to enter executive session with the intent not to reconvene the business portion of the meeting for discussions related to the employment history of a particular person or persons. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Have a good night.